What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to cover the latest features and updates for my accounts dashboard window on the NinjaTrader platform. This window, as a reminder, includes two separate products built into one window. You've got duplicate account actions, which is the trade copier, and account risk manager, which adds risk management solutions. In this window, you can see both products are displaying together with risk columns over here and copy related columns on the left. So these products work together beautifully in the same window, copy, risk, or independently as the copier or the risk manager. So let's get into it and cover the latest changes and updates. This video is for everybody because we're going to do a high-level overview of all the features, right? So I'm sure I'll miss something because there's so much in here, but this should get you going and help everyone understand exactly what this thing is capable of. Second, we're going to cover some new updates, right? So these are going to be latest updates not seen in videos before this one. And then lastly, we're going to nerd out. I'm going to cover some advanced scenarios that arise when copying trades across multiple accounts. So we're going to get into some specific details about situations that maybe some of you guys have experienced in copying your trades. So let's get into it. At the top of the window, we can see right away things have been changed, beginning with the version number. You'll always see the version number in this red box at the top. The year followed by the month, which is March, followed by the day being the 15th when I released this latest version. You've got the instrument selection, which determines the instrument that is being copied or displayed in the window. The exception being, by default, we're copying trades across all instruments. This is a feature that's unique to my product compared to other trade copier solutions, that you're able to, in one window, copy orders and or positions across all instruments. Moving on to the right, you can see whether it's running in orders or executions mode. So these are two distinct modes for copying your trades that I've covered in other videos and written on the website. So be sure to check out the duplicate account actions product page to see the differences and understand what it looks like to have this running in executions mode, which is default, or in orders mode, which is a more advanced way of managing your orders across all accounts. Again, one master account with multiple follower accounts, which brings up the last part of this taskbar, which is the number of accounts that are selected. We can see right here, 10 accounts are selected. So again, just an easy way to verify that you've got the correct number of accounts selected and configured in the window. This is always going to be one master account with follower accounts. In this case, 9 follower accounts for a total of 10 accounts selected in the window. And you'll notice that all the icons have been moved. Technically, this is running in a chart window, but removing these icons simplifies this window to really transform it into an accounts dashboard window. So that's a high-level overview of what the window is going to look like here. And now we'll get into some more updates. Let's take a look at how we select a master account and follower accounts in this. And so again, you can see at the top we do have 10 accounts selected. To clear the accounts, we're just going to click the reset button, and now there's 0 accounts. So to select a master account, double click on the connected status dot. So I'll select account 433. Double click, it becomes the master account as indicated by being highlighted and moved to the top of the list. And then we can select the follower accounts by clicking on the account name. So as I click, you can see the total number of accounts adding up at the top of the screen in the taskbar. And I just want to point this out. The connected status dot, again, double clicking on this dot is how you configure an account as a master account. So as I click this one, it becomes the master account. Okay? The connected status dot is confirming that the account is connected successfully. So if it's green, it's connected, red would be disconnected, and yellow would mean there's a problem with the connection. This is important as you're using this to make sure the accounts are connected. So that's how you select accounts. Real quick, I've changed into my favorite look, which is a black plain tee, so that I can ask you to do two things: subscribe and leave a comment. Why? Because when you leave a comment, YouTube is going to prioritize this video when people search for the best NinjaTrader trade copier. So, as you're watching the rest of this, let me know, what do you like? What don't you like? What features would you like to see in an upcoming version? Maybe even compare like your experience with my solution versus other trade copier solutions. Whatever it is, I know I have the best customers, so let's make the comments light up in this video. And trust me, I'll be there to read every single one. I want to hear what you guys have to say, all right? All right, let's go. Let's take a look at these columns that modify the trades on our follower account. So there's 3 columns possible. You can fade, adjust the size, or adjust the type of contract. Now when these columns are on, they are active. When they're off, they're inactive. So for instance, with all of these columns off, what's going to happen is your trades will not be changed on the follower accounts. Your trades on the follower accounts will match exactly that of the master account. As we begin to turn these columns on, things change. For example, if the fade column is on, you're going to be taking the opposite position of the master account. If you're long in the master account, you'll be short in the follower accounts. The size column is going to adjust the size of the trade in the follower accounts. I'll turn that on. And then the same thing with the type column. It, if on, is going to change the type of contract between mini or micro. So again, if this is on, it's making changes to the trades on the follower accounts. To adjust the size, you're going to click in the cell. So for instance, right here you have 1 times, which means it's not modified at all. As I click this, it's going to go to 2 times. And I can change this by scrolling my mouse or hitting a key. So if I click this, it's highlighted. Hit 5 on the keyboard, it becomes 5x. I can also click it and scroll the mouse up and down to change it. In the type column, you're going to toggle between mini and micro, and the type of contract listed is exactly what's going to be traded. So in this instance, even if I trade a mini contract in the master account, micro will be traded in the follower accounts unless I set it to mini. So as I set this to mini, what happens is now I've got these accounts trading minis and these accounts trading micros. Again, no matter what type of contract is traded on the master account, mini or micro, it's going to execute the selected type for these follower accounts. So if you're trading the same type of contract, again, just turn this column off. You don't need it. The only reason you would need to turn this column on is if you're going to trade some micros and some minis. For emphasis, when the type column is off, it will take the exact contract that is traded in the master account. So if in 432 I trade mini, it's going to trade minis in all the followers. If in 432 I trade micro, it's going to trade micro in all the followers, right? That's because we're not modifying the follower accounts with that column. That column's off, so it's going to follow the exact type of contract that's traded in the master account. Same thing with the size. If you're not going to modify the size, turn it off, right? So let's take a look at these columns in more detail here with some specific trade examples. So I've switched this to my sim accounts and I've got some sample configurations here. Again, we're in orders mode. We've got 2 times the trade size with minis on Sim 102 and 3 times the trade size with micros on Sim 103. So let's take a look at an example trade. I've got 2 targets configured, and I'll just click buy market. Keep this simple. And you can see what I get here. I get a 2-lot trade here. We're over here on minis with a 4-lot trade because it was set to 2 times the size. Notice how the target is 2. Both targets are 2. I'm going to move these. Okay, both targets are 2 lots. And then down here, both targets are 3 lots, 3 times the size, and it's micros. Why is this important? Because in other trade copier solutions that I've tested, it doesn't actually modify the size of the targets on the ATM strategy. For example, this would be 1 lot and this would be 3 lots. Sure, it'd be a 4-lot trade, which is 2 times the size, but the targets are not accurately changed as well. Down here for the 3 times trade, yeah, we got 6 lots in this trade, but 5 would be at target 1 and 1 would be at target 2. Instead, I've resolved this to put 3 and 3, which is the correct way to do it for a 3 times multiplier, right? We look at the trade in the master account. It's a 1x, right? If we're trading 3 times, we want it to be 3 times across all aspects of the trade. That includes targets. I don't want 5 lots here and 1 lot here. No, I want 3 lots at both of my targets. So that's one example of a trade where I've solved a problem specifically that other solutions have not solved. So I will use my flatten all button to close this trade. And I can't emphasize this enough. You guys can do the same thing I've done here. You can create as many sim accounts as you want. You can begin to understand what's going on after you've read the user manual, how these columns work, how they function. You can understand that this X button functions as a way to hide accounts. You hit restore, all the accounts are restored. So I've hidden my Apex accounts in this window because I'm calling this is my simulated window to test the accounts dashboard, right? So again, when you get into a trade, say for example at market, right? I can close the trade by using this red X on any of these accounts. Okay, if I have a pending order, let's say that I sell click up here. I can see the pending order indicated by a yellow X. Use that to cancel the pending order. You can even see different messages down here, right? So as I place another pending order, what's it telling me? It's warning me, hey, you're placing trades on the master account when duplicate account actions is disabled, right? So how this happens, people aren't paying attention, right? If you don't turn it on, it's not going to work, right? It's got to be on to function correctly. So pay attention to the messages down here as well and what they're telling you. All right. So as we wrap up this section of the video, I'll just say again, if you're not using these column, simply disable it. If you're trading all micros across all accounts, if you're trading all minis across all accounts, disable the type column. You don't have a need for it. If you're not adjusting your position size across your accounts, disable the size column. You don't need it. You're not changing the size across your follower accounts, right? You want to simplify the window based on your needs or add complexity based on your needs and always test it on sim accounts first. So now we'll move on to other things that I've added in this update. So this one is hard to cover because it only happens in certain situations, but as you guys know, the rhythmic data feed presents some problems, right? It can appear that you're still in a position when you're actually not in a position. So I like to say it like this: in situations where you know for a fact that you should be out of your positions, right? For instance, let's say you've got a stop loss on all 20 accounts, that stop loss is hit, right? You know that you're flat, right? Even if it's not showing that you're flat, you're probably flat. Well, I've created a refresh positions button. That button's going to appear right down here. So for these situations when you're confused about that, you can click the refresh positions button, and it's going to place and cancel an order to verify your positions with Rhythmic. Now, again, I remind you guys, all this stuff is covered in my user manual. I've written extensive documentation for you guys to understand this even more. So check that out. And another feature that you can enable in the settings is what I call rejected order handling. This is going to be for instances when you're placing orders. Let's look at the chart trader. Let's say I'm placing a buy stop. In my trading plan, I'm not, but I'm saying for those of you that are, if your trading plan, you're placing buy stops fairly close to where the market's going to hit it, it's possible to have rejected orders, right? Because these orders are close to the market, and as you place it on the master account, then you're placing all these orders across the follower accounts. Well, I've built this so that it can detect immediately when this is happening and then replace the rejected order with a limit order or a market order for entry. So definitely enable that if you've been getting rejected orders. Again, another feature I put in here based on customer needs. This is all evolving based on your needs, right? That's the advantage of going with this, is that I'm working closely with my customers to improve this and make it literally fail-proof. That it would be the only trade copier product where you can have confidence, you can focus on your trades in the master account knowing that the follower accounts are being handled by the software. So let's transition into some account risk manager features. So just what we see in this window, again, is a combination of duplicate account actions and account risk manager. And I'm just going to point out a few things. For instance, down here I have the one trade button. So if I'm trying to meet a requirement in trading a number of days, this is a button that's going to allow me to quickly get in and out on all of my accounts. So as I click this, what we're going to see is every account now has one trade in and out on a micro to satisfy the requirement for the trading day. Okay? We also have here the from funded column. We've got the auto liquidate column. We've got the from close column, and then daily go and loss. These columns, from funded, auto liquidate, from closed, are uniquely built for prop firms, and it's going to work with every prop firm. So reach out if you have one that it's not compatible with, but this has to be coded, right? We have to detect the account name and then know the right values to calculate all of these correctly. But this is going to show me, I'm going to know at all times how far I am from either closing or, as some people say, blowing an account, right? And I'm sure we've all blown lots of accounts. We do that in process of getting our payouts. Okay, so, but being able to keep track of this is important, right? Intra-trade, when you hit a high and the market starts to pull back, knowing how far you've come back from that peak threshold or the highest point in your account. You can always see that right here in the from close column. From funded, same thing. I know that I'm funded on these evaluation accounts if I hit 53,000. So I can actually, you can check this box, and what that's going to do is when these boxes are checked, it's going to close out your account when it hits that funded status. You can automatically be out of your trade and funded when you hit that funded status. So that's a pretty neat feature as well. If you know how this works, I've covered this in other videos, but you're automatically liquidating your accounts at the funded status of 53,000 and change, right? You can set the number of change. So if you want it to be 53,100, you want a little bit of cushion, you configure that. You check this box right here. And then as you're in a trade and it approaches that level, it's going to automatically close and secure that funded status. Looking over here, you can configure daily goal and loss, and this is a change from previous versions. So as I configure this, what I'm going to do is click, and that gives me an initial value of $100 loss. As the column is highlighted, so I'll click again, now I scroll the mouse wheel to change the value. These can be positive or negative numbers now. Okay, so that's important to understand that this is a negative $400 loss, okay, and a $400 goal for this account. Same thing here, when you check this box, that's going to make that active, so the account is auto liquidated in real time as either one of these are hit, the goal or the loss. Why does it matter that this can be positive or negative? Well, let me explain. Let's say you're up $1,000 for the day, right? And what you would like to do in this example, maybe your goal is $1,400. You're up 1,000. Well, now you can configure the loss itself to be 500. What that's going to do is lock in your gain. So as you come backwards, if you have drawdown, once you're up, drop below the positive 500 number, that's considered a daily loss and it will close the position. So you can begin to use this to trail your daily loss up as you have gains for the day. So to clear these out, we just double click. And I want to point out that you can use the master account as a lead. So rather than configure daily loss and goal for all your followers, you can, in the options, set this so that your master account becomes the leader. So you would only set your daily goal and loss for your master account. So we might start the day something like this, right? A $500 loss, $1,000 goal. And then as the day progresses, if these values are hit, it's not only going to close out the master account. Again, you have to check this box to enable this. It's not only going to close out the master account, but also close out all the followers when this is triggered. Hopefully this makes sense. But again, these are updates and new features that I've been working on over the last couple months based on what customers have asked for. And lastly, related to this daily goal and loss is a feature that I call disabling the followers. So when this is hit, we're going to automatically disable follower accounts as it's hit. And why do we do this? Because if you get into another trade and make a mistake, you no longer want to be trading these accounts, right? Because all the accounts have been hit. And so look, some of these things, like, you have to be paying attention and make your own decisions here, but I'm trying to build this in a way that it protects you. So in this case, if you were to continue trading the master account, the followers will not follow because it recognizes that, hey, we've hit a daily goal or loss, and therefore we want to disarm or disable all the follower accounts so that we are not continuing to make trades. So that's going to be another feature that has been added. Lastly, I'm going to talk about exit shield, or this might also be called stop lock, locking your stop loss. Probably cover another video on this, but I'll show you real quickly what this is going to do. So I've switched back to the simulated accounts so I can show you guys this feature. You can see the button right down here is going to turn this feature on and off. So anytime a button is grayed out, it's going to indicate that the feature is off. And because this is serious business, just to clarify, you can actually remove this button. So you can enable these features but hide this button so that you can't turn it off, because that's the point, right? We're trying to protect ourselves from changing our risk in the middle of a trade. So let's turn this feature on. And again, we're set to copy across these accounts. Exit shield is enabled. And I'll minimize this window now and we'll take a few trades and talk about this. So I'm going to go ahead and go long the NASDAQ. So we'll just hit buy market. I'm going to move these targets out of the way. And here we can see that this trade's hidden. I'll just change this so we can see this trade. Now what's going to happen is here, this is going to prevent me from moving my stop loss down. So watch what happens as I try to move it down. the command is invalidated and it's moved back to its original location. By default, it's going to keep this at the original location. So if I tighten it, that's okay. So as I move my stop loss up, no problem. I can even move it backwards. But what I can't do is move it beyond the original location of the stop loss. Now this can be changed. So let's say that you want to prevent yourself from ever moving it backwards. This is an option in the settings. So in that case, if I were to move it up, it's not going to allow me to move it backwards at all. Okay? So by default, it's only tracking the original location, and that's the restriction, right? We can't move this past our original risk, but you have the option to change this so that it prevents you from moving it backwards at any point in the trade. So as you decrease your risk, okay, as you tighten the stop, it would prevent you from moving the stop backwards. Same thing applies for profit targets. You can disable this, but profit targets, again, if I move this down, yeah, so I had to go turn that on because by default it's disabled, but what this is going to do is prevent you from moving your profit target. So you can see as I try to move this down, it moves it up, right? Because we don't want to decrease our risk. How tempting is it to take your profits early in the trade, right? So this is preventing us from doing that. It's saying you must keep your original profit target in place or increase your profit, right? It's going to allow you to increase your profit, but not allow you to decrease your profit. So again, by default, profit targets are disabled because the stop loss is typically the main focus here. But what this is doing, what I call exit shield, is shielding you from making, you could say, bad decisions when managing your risk in the middle of a trade. So I hope this makes sense. But again, this is a feature that is now included, and for all you owners of the Account Risk Manager, is included now in the latest update with that. So again, Account Risk Manager, continue building in features based on customer requests to assist with all things related to managing the risk across your accounts. So guys, I believe what we have here is the only trade copier solution that you need. And so just to wrap this up, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel, but also leave a comment. I want to hear from you guys. What do you like? What do you don't like? What would you suggest for the next version? I'm already working on the next version. I already added features since March 15th. Continue to work on this. And so I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you like about this, what you've noticed compared to other trade copier solutions. And so let's light up the comments. It would really bless me a lot if you guys would take time to leave a comment on this video. A quick plug here, what I've been showing in this video revolves around the accounts dashboard products, but I want you guys to notice that I've also been using my chart trader tools. So this here is called the Enhanced Chart Trader. It's a suite of products that from all the way as low as the basic chart trader tools is going to replace the standard NinjaTrader chart trader with things like the buy and sell click button and the ability to see targets and stops. For instance, if I buy market, now I can see the amount of dollars, risk, and profit in my trade. Many, many more features in addition to the most popular feature, which is the ability to trade micros on a mini chart. So you can see I'm on the NASDAQ mini, but I'm trading micros just by changing this toggle right here. Brand new feature. So check out the basic chart trader tools to get that, many other features. A lot of these features seen here are other upgrade options like entering on the bar close, entering in trade entry with the bracket, buy stop and sell stop simultaneously. Here we can enter a trade at the 20 EMA or any configurable plot with trailing stops. Literally tons of features in here, but you can get started and replace the outdated, archaic NinjaTrader chart trader for only $195. And then you can add features, additional features from there. So check out the enhanced chart trader. Would love for you guys to do that as well. Much more to come. I want to say thanks. This is awesome. Looking forward to hearing from many of you and releasing many more videos, hopefully much more frequently in the weeks and months to come. Thank you so much, you guys.